Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. For this video I want to talk about what it was like for me growing up with sight loss and the struggles I had with my confidence as a kid, and then talk about what it's like for me now and sort of the technology I use now and the things I do now, just to kind of give you the contrast between what it was like for me when I started and how I've developed over the years. And I'll tell you a bit about what my sight condition is along the way. I have covered this ground before on this channel, of course, a few times and in my blog, but I wanted to do this video because it's going to basically be a copy of a talk that I gave very recently. I gave my first public talk about my disability last year to some adults at the Nystagmus Network's Open Day. But in March this year, I gave a talk to children for the first time ever. This was primary school children aged around 9 to 11 years old, which I was very nervous about doing because I'd never done it before, and I was very flattered and surprised to be given the opportunity in the first place. So I gave it a go, and I'm very, very glad I did because it was really, really great. It was really special to do something like that because the children were just incredible. I mean, they were really attentive and they enjoyed looking at like my monocular and my sunglasses that I showed them and the speech on my phone and the changing the colours of the screen on my phone, and they asked some really thoughtful questions afterwards as well. So they loved it and I had amazing feedback after it. I was blown away by the comments that the teachers and the pupils gave afterwards. It was just incredible. So thank you to the school. You know who you are. I'm not going to embarrass anyone by naming them, but you know who you are. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was really, really good. So yeah, this video is just basically kind of a video version of that talk, if you like. There'll be a little bit more detail in here than I gave on the day. But yeah, this is basically what I told the children at the time, really. So I hope you find it interesting and useful, and perhaps you learn something new about me along the way. Perhaps it gives you another kind of insight into kind of how I've developed and what things are like for me at the moment. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So when I started off at school, I found things very hard to begin with. I found it very hard to not do my schoolwork, and I found it really hard to make friends. And I really wanted to be friends with the other kids. I really wanted to, play with them and get to know them and have a laugh with them. And, I liked all the same things that they did as well. I liked TV and music and video games, playing outside and reading books, all that kind of stuff. I liked the same things as everybody else. But the kids didn't want to be friends with me, like the other children didn't want to know, because they knew I was different, but they didn't really understand why. They knew there was something wrong with my eyes, but they didn't understand what was wrong or how it affected me or anything like that. And they didn't really try to understand either. Like maybe they were just too scared to ask about it, or they just thought I was weird or whatever, or they just didn't know, they just didn't understand, which you don't at that age. So yeah, most of them kind of must have thought, well, Glenn can't see very well, so he probably can't have any fun. He probably won't be very interesting to hang out with. He's probably just going to be sad about it all the time because he can't see. So yeah, we'll just play with other people. And that's basically what they did. I mean, they didn't kind of say it in those many words, but it's the impression I got, basically. So most of them just ignored me and hung out with other people. But there were also a few kids who bullied me and teased me, because they knew I was kind of lonely and I was different, and they knew they could upset me easily. I vaguely remember the fact that they placed my hands on like stinging nettles because I couldn't see where they were putting my hands, and they tricked me into getting into a shed at the bottom of the playground once and locked me in, and yeah, just calling me names and things like that as well. So I just got really upset and lonely, and basically I just thought, well, maybe all these other kids are right. They don't want to play with me. Maybe I am useless. Maybe I am boring. Maybe, I can't do anything. Because when you're a kid, you believe that kind of thing. If other people don't want to play with you, then you assume that there's probably a reason for it. So I just thought, well, if nobody wants to be friends with me now, then nobody's ever going to want to be friends with me. This is all my fault because I'm wrong, because I'm different. Then this is going to be like really miserable life for me. So yeah, I felt kind of really down and just had no self-confidence, basically. I just was just too scared about being around other people and kind of getting involved with other people. I was even too scared to put my hand up in class to answer questions, in case I looked like a fool and just got things wrong and people either laughed at me or just thought I was really stupid. So yeah, I just became very kind of shy and withdrawn and quiet and lonely, really. But then my parents got me moved to a different school because they found one for children that can't see very well, like me. It's a little bit further away, but I was able to go there. So I went, and things didn't change straight away. I was still really shy and quiet because I didn't know any different. I just thought, well, the other kids aren't going to like me much as well, And the other kids were a bit kind of wary about me because I had become so shy and quiet and just unwilling to interact by that stage, So yeah, it was a real struggle for me still at first, and there were kids there who teased me and bullied me as well. Not because of my sight this time, because they also had sight problems, but just because I was so shy and quiet and vulnerable and easy to upset. Just by calling me names and things, teasing me and insulting me in general, it just got me really upset, and they got a kick out of that. So yeah, I was still being teased and bullied, but then things did start to get better bit by bit because my parents and my teachers encouraged and supported me in kind of focusing on my classwork and also trying out kind of new hobbies and interests, kind of just getting involved with things bit by bit to see what I might enjoy, what I might be good at. And I did find that I was actually quite good at some things and really quite enjoyed some things. Swimming in particular, for instance, was something I really got into as a kid, not just in classes at school, but I also joined a disabled sports club as well. I found I was really good at swimming and not too bad at athletics either, running and one or two field events. See, I got involved in swimming in particular and ended up going to galas and competitions all over England really and doing really well. I ended up getting quite a lot of medals over the years really, and in theory I could have actually trained like for the national kind of disabled team at one point, like when I was in my teenage years. I was given the opportunity to go and train with them, and I kind of went up there once. It was like in Sheffield or somewhere, it was miles away, and I just didn't fancy kind of pursuing things that far. It was A, it was a long way to travel, and B, I just by that point I didn't really want to pursue it as a professional kind of competitive career or anything like that. So yeah, I'm quite happy doing swimming for leisure, but not for anything more than that particularly. But yeah, I did enjoy my swimming. I did become very good at it. And I also joined the choir at school. We had a little choir and we'd meet up once every week or two, and like a group of us in a classroom. The only song I really remember us doing is Downtown, which Petula Clark made famous, of course. So that was good. I was quite a good singer when I was a young kid, apparently. I was given like singing parts in school plays as well, and other parts too, just general kind of roles in school plays really I was given. And obviously once my voice broke, then my singing ability, what there was, just went out the window. Karaoke I'll do, obviously, but not professional singing, no. I got into the Cubs and Scouts as well. I joined the Cubs, we went camping and stuff and did other activities and went on to the Scouts. And I was also doing well in my lessons as well. I was particularly good at like maths and computers and English and science I was all right at as well. I was getting good marks in those, and sometimes even the other children would kind of ask me to help them a bit because they knew I was good at it, so we could work on things together. So by doing all these things, by trying all these things out, by seeing what I was good at, what I enjoyed, I was showing myself that I was capable of doing stuff, that I could be good at stuff, that I could enjoy stuff, which was really important for my self-confidence. It was making me feel better about myself. But it was also showing the other kids as well. Like the other kids were now seeing that, this kid who was like really shy and quiet and useless to begin with was actually doing really well, winning lots of medals in swimming and, going out on trips, the Cubs and Scouts, that some of them weren't going on because they obviously weren't members of that, and being in the choir and getting good parts in school plays and, getting good grades in my lessons and stuff. They kind of got more respect for me, and they realised that, my shyness, my sight loss, I wasn't letting it hold me back. I was actually trying to improve myself, and I was actually good at doing things. So I did start to make more friends bit by bit. The more I did, the more friends I made. So, I made friends with the people I was swimming with and the people I was in the choir with and in Cubs with and the people I was acting in school plays with. And, other kids kind of gradually made friends with me as well as they found me more kind of interesting and fun to hang out with. So, it was a very gradual process, kind of building up bit by bit, but it did kind of grow month by month, year by year as I got older. I got more and more confident, made more and more friends, and it got to a point where I even made friends with the children who had been like teasing and bullying me to begin with because they saw I was doing well, and I was doing better than them. In fact, I was getting better grades than them. I was getting more perks, and rewards from the teachers than they were, and they realised that they couldn't call me like pathetic and useless, whatever else they thought of me, because it was no longer true. I was actually doing very well. So they kind of had more respect for me, and they actually did get to know me and to understand me more. And, they realised they were wrong about me. We became good friends. But also, I realised I was wrong about them too. It worked both ways. I thought they were just these horrible boys who didn't care about anybody. But, I got to know them and I got to understand why they behaved the way they did towards me. And it wasn't my fault at all. The fact that they picked on me was just because I was an easy target. But it wasn't actually my fault. I'd done nothing wrong. They had their own problems, basically. Not their sight loss, particularly, because, we were all in the same boat in that respect. But they had other problems as well. They had other kind of personal problems. And I began to kind of understand them and appreciate that, these problems were affecting them. And they needed help in their own way just as I needed help. So it wasn't my fault. And that's the thing with bullies, if you're being bullied by someone, it's not your fault at all. It's something in the bully's lives that's causing them to behave like that. If they were happy with their life, if they had plenty to do and they were just happy with how things were and everything, they wouldn't need to kind of fill their time by picking on people and bullying people and things. They've obviously got issues of their own, whatever they may be, that they should really get help and support with, to stop them behaving like that. So yeah, I made basically loads of friends over the years, and ultimately, there was a big lesson here for me and for all the other children as well that kind of got really ingrained kind of over the years. It was important that I learned it, and it was important that the other kids kind of learned it as well. And that was that just because I have a disability, just because I'm different, just because there's something wrong with me, it doesn't mean that I can't do anything. It doesn't mean that at all. The truth is, I can do pretty much anything anyone else can do. I just have to do it a bit differently. That's all. I can do the same things as everyone else. I just have to do them a bit differently. And that's the message I kind of want people to understand. That's the message I wanted the children to understand at the school I went to. I'm just a bit different. I have to do things a bit differently. Apart from that, apart from my eyes, I'm a completely normal person. I still have feelings and emotions. I still enjoy doing things. I still want to have a laugh. I still want to make friends and everything else. I'm just the same as everybody else. I've just got slightly dodgy eyes, which means I have to do things a little bit differently. That's it. And it hasn't stopped me achieving things, like I said, because I did very well in school. I made lots of friends by the end of it. I was much more confident. I did well in my GCSEs. I went on to do A-levels as well, and I got a degree at university. And then 6 months after leaving university, I was lucky enough to get a job as well, which I've now had for over 13 years. It's been going really, really well. And even for my colleagues there, it was a learning experience for them as well, because they never met anyone like me before. But I knew now that I just had to show them what I could do, show that I could do the work and help them to understand that just because I'm disabled, I can still do things, because they were naturally wary about me at first, how much could I do and would they be able to get along with me? Would I be too shy or whatever? Or would they say anything wrong? They didn't bully me or anything like that. They were really nice people, and obviously they still are. And just as they just relaxed around me, got more comfortable around me, and I relaxed around them, we've just become really good friends, really close. It didn't take long to do that at all. So yeah, there is a learning curve, with, quotes, normal people, non-disabled people, because, if they've never met anyone like me before, if they've never met another disabled person before, it is something new, it is something different, it is something they'll feel uncertain about. So, I just had to make them comfortable around me, show I had a sense of humour, show I was capable of doing things, and yeah, things have worked out fine. And that brings me to today, really. I'm doing a lot now. I'm meeting a lot of new people, trying a lot of new things, and it's basically down to what I've learned over the years. I've learned it's just important to try new things, not to be afraid to give things a go, not be afraid of just who I am, and not be afraid of what other people think of me. Once other people feel comfortable around me, it's fine. There might be an initial bit of uncertainty, an initial bit of awkwardness, but once people get over that and they realise, they understand that, I'm a normal person, it's fine. It's just giving people that bit of confidence, to interact with me, as well as me getting confidence to interact with them. It works both ways. So in that vein, I now want to tell you some of the technology I used today to make things easier for me, and tell you a bit about my own eye conditions in the process. So I have 2 eye conditions, and the first one is called Aniridia, which basically means I don't have an iris in my eye. That's the coloured circle around the pupil. If you say you have like blue eyes or green eyes, that's what you're referring to, the iris, that coloured circle. I don't have that. And it's got nothing to do with colour, actually, that part of the eye. It actually controls how much light enters your eye, because it makes the pupil bigger or smaller depending on how much light you need. If it's really bright, then the iris will shrink the pupil so you're not too blinded. But if it's really dark, the iris will expand the pupil to let in as much light as possible to try and help you see. But my eyes don't adjust like that. They kind of adjust a tiny bit, but it's only to a very, very limited extent. So the main problem I have, because of not having an iris, is when I'm outside in the daylight. When there's sunlight, the sun is really, 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 really bright for me, like much more than it is for normal people. There's a lot more glare there. So normal sunglasses aren't really good enough for me. And then even if there's no sun out, and if it's cloudy, it can still be a bit too bright for me because of the glare that's outside, especially off bright surfaces like bright walls and things, and even off the clouds themselves. It can still be a bit too bright, still a bit too glary for me. And then even in the snow we've had recently, we've had a couple of periods where we've had quite a lot of snow recently. And, even that can seem quite glary and bright to me because it is bright white in colour. It's lovely to look at. I love snow as much as anyone else, but it can glare at me and can still seem quite bright. So basically, when I'm out and about in the daytime, I will often wear special sunglasses. I've got green tinted sunglasses, which just take off 75–80% of the glare, I think it is, something like that. It just makes it a lot easier for me to see. And I'll be wearing them even if it's cloudy. So it may look odd if I'm wearing sunglasses like on a cloudy day, but I need to because it just makes things a lot easier. It's just a simple thing, just wearing a different pair of glasses. I do struggle in the dark as well, though. If I'm going out at night, to see some friends or whatever, or to go and see a show, it'll be dark when I'm coming home, and I will be very careful to stick to well-lit streets and just kind of walk a bit slower, just kind of take me time just to make sure I'm not tripping over anything. I don't use a cane or a guide dog at night because I can see well enough not to use one, but I am still a little bit more careful. Sometimes I'll tail other people that are walking in front of me. If they're going in the same direction, I'll just follow them to see if they're dodging any obstacles. But I'm fine usually. I always try and plan out my routes in advance anyway, so I kind of know where I'm going. And I'm just a little bit more careful and just stick to areas that are well lit. And if I'm going into like a bar or a restaurant or something and it's kind of very dark compared to the outside, then I can be effectively blind at first until my eyes kind of adjust in what little way they can to this new kind of dimmer environment. So that can be quite hard as well. But it's not caused me a major problem. It's the daylight that's more of the issue. Lighting like indoors like this, artificial light, is fine. I don't have any problem with this kind of light. But it's like the outside light, the daylight, that affects me the most. And then also on computer screens and mobile phones, there's brightness there as well. Like if you think about when you look at a Word document or a website, or you're looking through your list of files, the background is generally white, and that is very glary to me. And I have to really concentrate hard to read things that are on that white background. And yes, I could turn like the contrast and the brightness down on the screen, but then that turns down everything. So everything's harder to read anyway then. So instead, I basically invert the colours. So instead of having a white background with black text, I'll make the computer show me a black background with white text. Instantly, the black background has no glare on it. The white text stands out much more clearly. And it just makes things a lot easier to read. I can kind of just focus on the screen a lot more easily, read things more easily. It works wonders. It just makes a huge difference to me. So I'm glad I can do that on the computers and on my phone as well. It really does help a lot. And then the other condition I have is called Nystagmus. And this basically means my eyes move and wobble about all the time. I have no control over it. Things aren't moving to me. I'm not seeing the world like this. The world does seem still because my brain is kind of compensating for it. It's adjusting for it. But because things are basically moving to begin with, there's no time to focus on things properly. So things at a distance, I can kind of make out the basic shapes of things in the distance and basic colours and things, but I can't see detail. I can't read writing at a distance. When I was in the school hall, for instance, doing the assembly, I could see the kids all sitting in front of me, but I couldn't see their faces. So they could have been smiling or frowning or yawning or sticking their tongues out, picking their noses, I don't know, whatever. I wouldn't have noticed. So I couldn't judge whether they were enjoying the assembly or not, which made the feedback all the more amazing that I got afterwards. It affects me mostly really when I'm out and about, because I can't see signs, I can't see bus numbers or signs on the tube trains, the underground. I can't see names of shops and things and street names and all that kind of stuff. Things have to be close to me in order to read them, or really large. So some really large shop names I can see, but generally things have to be close up to me in order to see them. So basically the way I get around that is to use a monocular. It's basically a little telescope. If you think about binoculars or binoculars, you've got the two things you look through, two lenses. So a monocular is just one of them. I just use it one-handed, and I can change the focus and just read things like street signs and tube trains and buses and all sorts. Again, it's a simple little thing that makes my daily life an awful lot easier. So, it's really, really handy to have that in my pocket or around my neck. And on computers, I can just zoom things in. I can make text bigger. I can get computers to speak to me. I can get it to read things out in speech. I can ask Siri questions on the iPhone. I've got an Amazon Echo as well that I can ask questions to. So I can use speech, talking to the computer, having it talk to me if I want to. When it comes to books, I prefer to listen to audiobooks rather than reading physical books, because reading physical books is just very tiring on the eyes, so it's far, far preferable to listen to a book if I can. I'll also use audio description when I'm watching things. I can get it on the TV, although I don't use it on the telly very often because I can sit close enough to the screen anyway. But occasionally I'll use it if I really can't make out what's going on. But audio description really comes in useful in the cinema and theatre in particular, because I can't get so close to everything then. I mean, I know cinemas have got massive screens, but it's still not easy to see what's going on sometimes. If things are happening really quickly, or if there's something small happening, like a small prop that's important to the plot being kind of passed around, or if the scene's really dark or anything like that. I haven't got the luxury of being able to rewind it like I would have at home with a TV or a DVD. I've just got to watch it in the cinema and kind of just hope I don't miss things. So being able to use audio description really helps. And again, in the theatre, audio description is really helpful for me to understand what's happening on the stage. Basically, what happens is you get a headset, you get a pair of headphones and a little device attached to them that you then receive the audio description through. So in between when characters are speaking, you basically get another voice saying what's happening, giving you important information, perhaps what people are doing, perhaps if they're using a particular prop that's important to the plot, or if there's a scene change, where are they now, and all this kind of information. And before theatre shows, you actually get like an introduction as well, like a 10 to 15 minute introduction, kind of setting up various aspects of the show, the characters and some of the key scenes and things like that to kind of get you ready for it. So that's really useful, kind of listen to that during the show. But then also the other bonus about theatres is that I can go on touch tours as well for these audio described performances. So before the show even starts, like a couple of hours before, I'm able to go up on the stage itself and have a close look at the sets and the props and the costumes and stuff to really get a proper close look at it, get hands-on with it, so I can really understand what everything looks like and feels like, and what it represents when it's used. I get to talk to people who kind of work on the stage, members of the crew, and sometimes even get to talk to a few of the actors, if they're able to give up their time, before they have to go and get ready for the performance. So it's a real privilege to meet the actors when that happens. I have done a few times for a few plays, so it's great when they're able to give up their time to do that. So that's really, really cool. It just, again, makes an awful lot of difference, because then when I'm hearing the audio description during the play, I can think, well, I've touched that, I've looked at that, I can remember it, I can recall it, I can just really visualise it much more clearly. And I can use my binocular if there are things I really want to look at that's happening as well. If the audio description says something's happening, then I know what to look for then. So that's really, really useful. And that's it really. That's basically my eye conditions and the bits of technology that I use to help me live my day-to-day life. So it's quite easy for me. Like I said earlier, having a disability, having a problem with my eyes hasn't stopped me living a happy, successful, enjoyable life. I've got friends, I've got a job, I'm able to go out and about and do all sorts of fun things. And I'm just really happy. I've had my eye condition since birth, so I've never known any different anyway. I don't know what normal 20/20 vision is because I've never had it. This is normal to me as far as I'm concerned, so I've just grown up with it. I've learned to be more confident, I've learned to live with it, I've learned to just get on with my life and enjoy life. My eyesight doesn't stop me doing that, and I appreciate that some people don't understand that to begin with. So that's why I'm doing videos and blogs like this, and just in general kind of showing people that I can do things, that I have got a sense of humour, that I can have fun, that I want to be friendly, I want to just do the same things as everybody else, because I can do the same things as everybody else, I just do them a bit differently sometimes. That's all it is. I'm still a normal person, I still have normal emotions and feelings and desires and interests and all the rest of it. It's just my eyes that are a bit dodgy, and because of that I just do things a little bit differently just to make things easier for me. Simple as that. So I hope you found that useful and interesting and insightful. Thank you very much to the school who invited me along to do the talk for them. It was very, very generous of you, and I'm glad it went down so well. Thank you to everyone who's watching this. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you have any questions or anything else you want me to do a video about, then leave it in the comments. I'm always happy to get comments from you. Click the like button if you enjoyed it as well, and subscribe to my channel so you get notified of new videos that I release. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you for another video very soon. Bye.